I knew I was an alcoholic. I almost like glorified it. Instead of like healthy coping mechanisms, I would cope with alcohol. Every time I drink, like I had a validation. I'm like, oh, it's 5. Oh, it's sunny today. I find people like protecting alcohol. I'm never gonna drink again. And then as soon as I felt better, I would go drink. I lost probably 20 pounds just from quitting drinking. I had no idea that doors would open, perspectives would be changed, life could be so much more richer just from quitting drinking. That place of low, like it's scary, it's dark, it's hard, but it's beautiful because then there's like nowhere else to go. Joy is totally possible no matter how dark you feel. Like joy is totally possible without alcohol or without a substance.
I have Chelsea with me here today. She is 6 years sober. And so, Chelsea, can you give me a little bit about you? You've been 6 years sober and you're a hairstylist in Washington.
Yep, I do hair. I have a 3-year-old daughter. I work a program that helps keep me sober. I love to fish. I love doing outdoorsy things. And my life is just drastically different now than what it used to be when I was drinking. And I'm just so grateful that I found sobriety and life can just be fun without drinking.
Oh, keyword, life can be fun without drinking.
It does exist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So funny. So many people think there's not a life without alcohol. And it's just, I wish I could get it through so many people that there really is a life without alcohol.
There absolutely is.
So what was your moment that you decided to quit drinking?
I actually had a friend who I drank a lot with. We drank a lot alike together. We drank the same, had kind of the same relationship with alcohol. And she decided to quit drinking. And that kind of like just planted the seed in my head like, oh, if she thinks she has a problem, like, I feel like I drink way more than she does. And so, like, that, it was just like as simple as that. I'm like, oh, like, maybe like I have a problem drinking too. And so I tried to quit drinking just on my own and one morning, and then 5 o'clock would roll around and I would be at the bar and I would drink. And so many countless attempts to stop and it just never worked. And so I decided to go seek help and like check out a meeting with her, and I've been sober ever since. And that was not my plan, but that's just the way it's worked for me. And I'm
Awesome.
so grateful.
Did you have like anything traumatic happen that made you like start drinking heavily?
Yeah, my parents got a divorce when I was 16, and it was pretty unexpected for me and just came out of the blue, out of nowhere. I had a pretty great, normal childhood. My parents never fought or anything like that.
Mm.
And so when they sat me down and told me that they were separating and my mom was leaving our home to be with somebody else,
Oh.
yeah, I was like, what? Like, wait, what? And so honestly, like that period of time in my life, like really changed me. And I rebelled out and I just sought after other things instead of like healthy coping mechanisms. I would cope with alcohol and
Mhm.
boys and like whatever else. And I liked the effect produced by alcohol. So I just kept going with it strong. And it worked for me until it didn't.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
So do you have a relationship with your mom to this day?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah,
I guess being 16 and like your whole entire world just abruptly shatters.
absolutely. Yeah. It
That would be
was,
hard.
yeah, super hard. And, my dad wanted me to go in counseling and stuff. And I guess I was like, oh, I'm fine. Like, I'll be fine. Like, I don't need to talk. I don't need help. Like, I think I viewed help as more of like a weakness.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm good. I can just be fine on my own, distract myself with friends, with booze, with parties, with everything else other than like feeling like the pain and like the loss of like my parents being together.
Yeah.
So that's
I
kind of
like,
what got the ball rolling.
wow. I like how you mentioned counseling seemed like weakness. So it's funny because we just turn to something that makes us weaker
Yes,
and
exactly.
we just roll with it instead of like asking for help or seeking help. Then we're just
Mhm.
like drowning our sorrows and pain and not dealing with it.
Absolutely. It's almost like feeding the ego, I would call it, like when
Yeah.
I was drinking a lot, I felt like I just had this big like ego, like look at me, I'm so cool, I've got it all together. Like look how much I can drink. Like I'm fine, life's fine. Like, just like just
Yeah.
not dealing with reality and like the pain that, I was feeling inside.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty painful. My parents got divorced when I was right before I turned 25. And it's still, I don't think it matters at what age, it's still devastating.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then prime high school, peer pressure, all the like all the new feelings with boys and drinking and friends.
Absolutely. Gotta
Oh my
throw
gosh.
that all in there. I don't think 16 was, I was never a great age, but like 16 was like, oof, that was a rough age to have something big happen. It totally
Yeah.
changed, yeah, my perspective on relationships and yeah.
I feel like because when you turn 16, you start getting an independence because you get your license. And then, I mean, it's just like that's the beginning of our independence. And so
For sure.
add trauma on top of it and alcohol on top of it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Crazy.
Yes.
So did it like, did it spiral? I mean, did you have anything else that like may have led?
No, I feel like that was just the beginning of my relationship with alcohol and trying alcohol. Once I discovered like the effect that was produced by it and how good it felt and how like I could just be, I felt like it gave me superpowers to like fit in. And I felt like this feeling that like I belonged and like I felt comfortable in my skin and I felt really confident and I could like do or say what I wanted and I wasn't even like worried about it. And
Right.
yeah, and then it just kind of progressed and progressed and progressed. And then like I used it for social, like a mechanism to like be social with others and like to do uncomfortable things. I needed to have that like liquid courage. And like that's just kind of what it turned into. I used it as like a solution for so many different things. And I validated it. Like every time I drink, like I had a validation. I'm like, oh, it's 5. Oh, it's sunny today. Oh, it's
Right.
summer. Oh, it's a family dinner. I have to drink around the family. Like,
Oh, it's 5 o'clock at the sunset. I mean,
yes.
all of
I'm
it.
on vacation. I'm not on vacation. It's June, like whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, uh, so you stopped drinking 6 years ago, and then you also have a 3-year-old.
Yes. Yeah. So super, super grateful that I got to go through, like pregnancy and being a mom while being sober.
Yeah.
Alcoholism runs in both sides of my family. So it accepting the fact that like I'm an alcoholic wasn't hard for me. Like I knew I was an alcoholic, but when I was drinking, I almost like glorified it. I'm like, yeah, I'm an alcoholic. Like, look at me. I'm so cool. Like no one can outdrink me. Like why don't you try? Like I just like didn't care that I was an alcoholic. But like some tragic things happened to like my mother from like her disease and alcoholism. And she ended up in the hospital, like almost passed away, like pretty dramatic things from alcohol. And that like stuck with me. And I'm like, ooh, like I really don't want to be like my mom. I love my mom, but like I can see
Oh
that
yeah.
happening for me. And I was like, I've got to do something different because I can see myself, like I can see my life happening like that. And it scared me. So I guess I'm like super grateful for like the healthy amount of fear I had inside of me to
Yeah.
make a choice to do something different and to like I don't know like if I was still drinking if I would have became a mom or if that would have been important to me because I feel like I was really wrapped up in self. And so taking alcohol out of my life like opened my eyes to so many other things and like really and what like took me out of like my own like self a little bit and like
Mhm.
yeah and so like I got to a point where I was like ready to have a baby and like and just be present for her, and, in ways that maybe my parents didn't show up for me. And I can just like do it a little differently. And so it was really scary having a baby, like thinking like, oh gosh, like I don't want her to be an alcoholic one day. Do I have this like alcoholic gene that I'm gonna pass down? Like all of those kinds of thoughts. But I'm like, no, like she's not gonna see her mom drinking. So she'll probably maybe have a different view on alcohol than I did.
So I I just did a I've been listening to Quit Like a Girl, and she brings up how everybody says alcoholism is genetic. And so I've just been like really like not digging into it as deep as I probably should, but enough to be like, don't think it's genetic. Like you just said, my daughter doesn't have to see it happen. So
Yeah.
hopefully she won't drink. And I really think it's environmental. I don't think it's
Yeah.
like, of course, you're going to be an alcoholic if your parents are alcoholics and all your family is alcoholic. But if you don't choose to quit drinking yourself, like, when does it stop?
Right. And I think that goes down to like breaking the cycles,
Yeah.
right? Like generations. Lots of alcoholics in my family, and currently like still drinking even too if they're not passed away. But like I made the choice to not and to like get sober, and I don't, no one else in my family has done that I
Yeah.
know of or I'm aware of. So I'm like, maybe this is breaking like a generational cycle or a curse or whatever it may be, to just like have a new and different environment to show for the next generation that's to come of like my normal.
Exactly. That it's just so huge because I've just been really thinking about this lately. I'm just like, just because your dad, your grandpa, your uncles are all alcoholics doesn't mean that you have to be an alcoholic.
Exactly.
It's so hard. And breaking those generational cycles, I feel, is extraordinarily hard. Like we're dealing
Absolutely.
with a lot of things right now because we're breaking them.
Yeah. Yeah. But we can do hard things. And I just feel like doing something like that, like there's just like so much growth that has followed after just making that like one decision. I had no idea that doors would open, perspectives would be changed, like life could be so much more richer just from quitting drinking. It's pretty
Yeah.
powerful.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Have you so you said your mom's an alcoholic
Yeah.
and she still is,
I would say so. I mean, it's not really like my job to say that, but
right? Yeah.
that's for her to decide. She doesn't think she is. I beg to differ, but that's her life.
I think we have some people in our family who are the exact same way. But like, has it changed your relationship with your mom since you quit drinking?
I feel like I have a lot more acceptance and love for
Okay.
my mom. I really like held on to resentments and judged her and was really disconnected from her and like blamed her for a lot of things. And I think through getting sober, I've really been able to like look at my mom in a different perspective and just like find a place of gratitude. Like,
Mhm.
at least she's alive, at least she's present in my life. Like, she's just doing the best she can, and she makes her own choices at the end of the day. And I guess I've just learned to grow into accepting that for how she is and the choices she's going to make, and I don't have the power to change that.
Yeah,
It's pretty painful, like I'm not enough for her to quit drinking. That's a
that's
hard
the
thing to
hard part.
accept, but I
And
mean,
your and her grandchild.
right,
Yeah,
exactly. But she just doesn't look at it in like that lens, like her life is together, her bills are paid for, like she's well off, she's traveling, she has a marriage that she's happy in. Like I think because she has all these things, it's like, oh, how could I be an alcoholic or have a problem drinking when my life is together?
yeah. And I feel like a lot of people don't realize they have a problem drinking
Yeah.
until they quit drinking.
Yes.
And then you're like, holy crap, I really had a problem. Like,
Totally.
just because your bills are paid and you look like you're put together, but if you are relying on alcohol for every single thing in life,
Yeah.
we got a problem.
Absolutely. I totally agree. When I quit drinking, that was like the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And those first like 30 days, 60 days, like I would cry every day. Like I just like didn't know who I was anymore.
Yeah.
I was just like, wait, how do I like be? How do I just like be a human in society like without this thing? And I didn't think like I would feel that way just from stopping drinking. And it was like so hard. And it made me realize, dang, I relied on that for so many different things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is rough.
It's
Yeah.
eye-opening. So you said those first 30 to 60 days were pretty brutal.
Yeah.
And did you go to help immediately after, like, so you said you were going to stop drinking and then you did the whole 5 o'clock thing. and then,
Yeah,
and,
totally.
and then you
On
realized,
New Year's Day, I was like, my New Year's resolution is going to be to not drink. I don't know how long that maybe like I didn't have a end goal in mind. I'm just like, I'm just going to take a break from drinking. And that's my New Year's resolution. And I have not looked back since. So it's the only resolution I've ever really stuck to before. But I went into an AA meeting with a friend and then I just kept going back, and it's been really helpful to find a community and meet other friends
yeah.
that also don't drink and just relate with them and talk with them. It made me feel like, oh, I'm not alone in this. Like, I'm not the only one that feels this way. Like, other people out there feel this way too. And so, like, that was just like everything to me.
Yeah.
So helpful.
That's huge. So what did those first 30 to 60 days look like besides like getting used to not having alcohol?
Yeah, gosh, I felt like a crazy person. I'm just like, okay, like, I think the hardest part for me in those first short amount of time was like time. Like, what do I do with my time now? I was a social drinker. I went to the bars. Like after work, I'd go to the bar, like the same bar, or I'd go to a friend's house. I was always was drinking with someone or like at a bar somewhere. And so like not going to the bar anymore. I'm like, okay, what do I do? I got a gym membership. I'm like, okay, I worked out, but now what do I do? And I get like panicky. I'm like, well, my boyfriend's fishing and I already did an hour-long workout. Like, and I have the day off today. Like, now what do I do with my time? Because I would just always go to the bar. Like, I always had somewhere to do. I'd meet somebody or I'd make friends with anyone. And so I would go to different meetings and I would talk to different women that were sober and call them, go on a walk with them, and just get really out of my comfort zone and talk to people that I didn't really know and like constantly like seek help, which was really hard, but it filled my time and it was like everything to me.
So you started working out.
Yeah, I started working out and going to the gym, and gosh, just from not drinking, I lost probably 20 pounds just from quitting drinking. I was so like swollen and puffy and just super unhealthy. And yeah, just quitting drinking like the first few months, like I just was dropping weight really fast for probably like the inflammation, like leaving my body. And yeah, that was a physical change that happened right away for sure.
I
And
feel like that's exactly what happened to me is I lost 15 to 20 pounds, but it was just like all that extra water weight. Like I
for
haven't
sure.
lost any more weight, but it was like everybody asked me like, how much weight have you lost? I'm like, well, I don't know, depending on the day, like 15, 20 pounds, but
Yeah.
all that extra fluid that you're carrying around from alcohol, like our faces, like we're so
Oh,
puffy,
totally.
midsections.
I hate it when I get photo memories that pop up back when
Right.
I was drinking, and I'm like, ooh, like half that is not a look. It's
No,
rough.
it's and
Yeah.
then now you look at people different. I mean, I can tell which ones drink now and which ones are just like overweight because they just have a different fluff to them.
It's so true. Or like the constant like red in the face or like more of like a red nose. And
Yeah,
yeah, it's wild what alcohol does to our bodies.
it really is. Did
Yeah.
you I guess when you quit 6 years ago, I guess it wasn't such a big thing like seltzers and stuff, but did you use any like other like liquids, like seltzer waters or pop or anything?
Yeah. So I think like that's when like seltzer water really started becoming a thing because when I quit drinking, like Truly water was new and like
Oh,
White Claws, like that's when those like kind of first came out. So I really got to like drink those for like maybe like 6 months to a year. And then when I quit, like so many other alcohol seltzer waters came out. So yeah, that's when I started drinking just like seltzer water.
yeah.
And that is like my new best friend. Because a lot of like the flavored seltzer waters to me like would taste similar to like the Truly waters or the White Claws. So for like that helped me. It wasn't like a
Yeah.
trigger to me. It was just like, okay, well, I have something in my hand and it tastes like what I'm used to. So that's everything, like social events, family dinners, like, and still to this day, like I have to have my bubbly waters and
Hmm.
fizz sticks, coffee. Like I always have so many different drinks in my
Yes.
car. I got my water, got my Stanley. Like I need excess
Same.
liquids to do something with my hands.
So it's so funny. A lot of us are the same way. Like,
Yeah.
uh, I just have to have something in my hand. And
Yes.
I mean, maybe it's like this the smoker, they had to have something.
Totally.
But like being a drinker, you have to have something in your hand. It's like your comfort. And it
Absolutely.
doesn't matter what it is. It could be milk. But I mean, like, I mean, I don't know, but like anything that helps you.
Totally.
So I love that you mentioned that because so many of us talk about that and it's a pattern.
It is a pattern. But hey, it's like a better substitute.
Yeah. And I mean, I have gotten some pushback. Like, why do you need that? Like, you should just be able to quit. You don't need to trade one habit. I'm like, I'm trading. It's a good habit. It's not a bad habit.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm hydrating myself, caffeinating myself, and you know, it all goes hand in hand. I'm not like
Absolutely.
putting toxic stuff in my body anymore.
Exactly. And it's not having like a negative effect on like your mind or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So, like the first 6 months, when did you really feel like you started getting a good grip on your sobriety?
Yeah, I would say like the first like 4, 5, 6 months, I just got in a new routine of my life, work, gym, picking up other outside things that I normally wouldn't do. I would go to meetings like 3 to 5 times a week, which was super helpful to me to like stay connected. To the program and learn about sobriety, but also like outside hobbies. Like I picked up snowboarding and
Oh,
I would just try different activities, hiking, fishing, hunting, lots of different things that I didn't spend a lot of time doing before because I was too busy drinking. So yeah, just replacing my time with like things that are good for me, reading books, like listening to podcasts, like
yeah.
self-help, like those like were really inspiring and helped fill my time with good things. And I think it was a good, like, safe distraction, and it kept my mind off of obsessing over drinking or obsessive about, like, going to the bar or, like,
Yeah.
things like that. And just, like, surrounding myself with like-minded people was everything.
Key. That's so key. And I also have always told people read, like listen to podcasts. If you don't read, listen to podcasts. It
Yes.
really opens your mind. Is there any books that really spoke to you or anything that you listened to, like podcast wise?
I honestly would listen to, like, a lot of, like, just on YouTube, like AA
Oh,
speakers just around the world, and people it's just sharing their experience, strength, and hope. So I would just I think on the podcast on podcasts on like your phone, they have different speakers around the world too, and it would just share their story and like. Some of them I'd be like, oh my gosh, that person's telling my story. I would totally
right.
relate. And I just love that feeling of like, that reminder of I'm really not alone. Like I'm not as unique as I think I am. Like other people feel this way too.
Yeah.
And then Russell Brand, he is sober as well, and he wrote a book, and it's like his version of the 12 steps of the program. and I think it's called like How to like Unfuck Yourself or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he's really funny, and like I felt like I learned a lot from him early on in sobriety. That helped a lot too. He just like I guess put a more like a lighthearted view of it, which was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, did your friend inspired you? Is this friend Lindsay?
No, it's not. I wish it was. Like
Okay.
meet Lindsay in the program like right
Oh,
away. And so
awesome.
that's how her and I became really good friends. And she is one of my best friends. And it's so nice to have like girlfriends and like best friends that are in sobriety with you. Like
Yeah.
it's just makes life more richer, and we can talk about things that like I can't necessarily talk about with other friends that aren't sober, you
Hmm.
know? It's a different level of like understanding.
It really is. And that's one thing that I've noticed is I've met a couple people that don't drink since I quit, but there's just a different connection with
Yeah,
girls that aren't drinkers
right.
versus like, your party crowd.
Exactly. It's true. It's a
Yeah,
totally different connection.
it really is. And so you really did it help having that friend go to AA to get you to go to AA?
Yeah, I think she planted the seed in my head, and I'm so grateful for that. Um, that I I guess before I like got sober, I was I guess like easy to like influence. I would like mold into other people's like personalities. I would like give in if they wanted to, here, try this. I'd be like, sure, you know,
Right.
just like, and so I'm grateful that she decided to do that because it really like made me think about my own self and like my downfalls and like the problems that I could possibly have. And
Hmm.
it's, yeah, her planting the seed was just like everything to me. And I mean, that's all like what I hope to do forever, you know, like just pay it forward and pass that along. And there can never be enough seeds planted.
Yeah.
It's a messed up world out there.
It really is.
Yeah.
Do you go to just all female AAs?
Um, I have a home group that I helped start. I started this
Oh,
meeting. It's a women's meeting. It's every Friday night. It's called Broad Highway. There's a bunch of rad chicks that go there in like the Olympia area. So that's every Friday night. I try to make that one as often as I can. And I do go to, that's the only women's meeting I go to. I go to like other local meetings that are mixed meetings and stuff, but I think I feel like the best and most comfortable in a women's meeting because we can just talk about things that maybe you
mhm.
wouldn't talk about with men around.
Yeah.
Mixed meeting.
So being, a cute blonde young female, like how is that walking into those co-ed AAs? Like, is it scary?
Yeah,
Is it
gosh, like going to like it's called the club, like downtown. Downtown Olympia is pretty rough, full of homeless people and stuff. And so like I would always feel really uncomfortable going to those meetings just because there's just a rough crowd in
Yeah.
there. And early on in sobriety, like my first few years going to meetings, I've had some experiences of just like weird, like older men, like creepy older men, and that's like
Yeah.
comfortable. So that's why I've really gravitated towards a women's meeting, and that's why it's more my home group. I feel safest there. I feel the best there. But now I've got, you know, my bearings, and I feel like I know the meetings that I personally like and jam with and like feel safe in
Mhm.
and like the mixed meetings and stuff. And I feel like I've kind of like weaned those weird people out. I mean, like there's just always going to be people in there no matter what, but having a big community about you, like there's like men in the program that would always like have my back and protect me and make sure I'm good and like watch out for me, which is really nice to have. But that took
Yeah.
some time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, I like living in those bigger cities or those type of, I mean, that would be kind of scary.
for sure. Yeah,
And I mean, I guess I'm just scared of like people in general. So
totally. I
I'm
totally get that. Yeah, and so like, I like meeting friends at a meeting or like having a plan and like going with making sure like, oh, are you gonna be there tonight? Like that makes me feel better.
So you literally have like your little sorority of girls that you guys just like met.
Yeah,
I mean, like I that just came out, but like it's kind of like
totally.
you're just like best friends and you're all a part of the same like community and you guys all have the same like mindset and
Yeah,
like it's absolutely amazing.
it's awesome. I love it. I'm so grateful that I found like the girls that I have in my life that are in the program and they all got sober young too, which is something that I related on. I was 24 when I came into the
Oh,
rooms and got sober. And so, being so young and like being in your early 20s, that's just like that's a society norm that like everybody does. Everybody parties in their 20s. And a
yeah.
lot of my friends that didn't get sober were really curious, like really like they thought it was kind of weird that I quit drinking and got sober. They're like, why would you're so young, like you don't have a problem, like you're fine. And I think people view it as like people that have an alcohol problem end up in jail or a
Yeah,
homeless, paper bag under the bridge on the side of the road. A
exactly.
lot of people view alcoholism as that specific description. And it's just what you identify as, really. Like everyone has a
Mhm.
different rock bottom and story, and mine just wasn't as dramatic as other people's rock bottoms. But if I can not stop when I have one drink, I'm like, that's different than the normal drinker out there. Like I don't
Yeah.
understand how people can just have a drink or two and like be done. Like that
Yeah.
makes no sense to me, and that's lame.
Right?
I
Exactly.
can't, I can't do it.
Or I was the type that would look at the back of a bottle, like a wine bottle, or go for the like highest ABV on beer. And not, I mean, normal drinkers don't do that.
No, not at all.
like,
I would do the sneaky thing too. Like, oh,
like,
a Bud Light Platinum is like 6%. Like,
right? Oh
I'm
my
going
gosh.
for that one. I don't care if it costs more.
So you were the type of drinker that just couldn't stop.
Yeah, I I drank for the effect. Wasn't so much the taste. Yeah, sometimes that mattered, but like I just drank mostly for the effect produced, and I just wanted
Yeah.
the feeling of alcohol, and like one or two wouldn't really do it for me. I needed like four or five or however many more.
Have you ever had the pushback of, well, why can't you just moderate?
Yeah, I totally have. From like my dad, like my dad's more of like a normal drinker and stuff, and he'd just be like, "Oh, you just everything in moderation, sweetie. Everything in moderation." I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds like that makes sense and that would be good, but like how? But like I can't." And I didn't know
Right.
why I couldn't. And I remember drinking and like just just always being like I remember drinking and like wanting to stop drinking and like wanting to stop for a week or stop for a month and just like cleanse my body, lose some weight, like be a little bit more healthier, like take a break and then come back to it and like maybe I'll be more normal with it instead of like so excess. And I just would talk myself out of it. And then someone would text me and be like, "Hey, let's meet here tonight for drinks." And I'd be like, "Sweet, done, I'm in." And I would just totally go against what I wanted to do.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's just cycle.
It really is.
Yeah,
And then when you try to control it, it just makes it worse.
totally.
And then you
Mhm.
find yourself binging and just
Yeah.
becoming more disgusting drinking it, I guess, because you're
Yeah. The
really drinking it.
hangovers were just got a lot worse the older I got. I would get more sicker from alcohol. Like I was hungover a lot. Like I had the worst hangovers ever. And I just over and over again, I would just be like, I'm never gonna drink again. I'm never gonna drink again. And then as soon as I felt better, I would go drink.
Or sometimes maybe drink to make it feel better.
Yeah, or that if the hangover wasn't as bad, I'm like, okay, hair of the dog.
Yeah.
I can drink a Bloody Mary and it'll be fine.
Oh my gosh. How did you fight the cravings and urges in the beginning?
I definitely realized I craved sugar. So like always having like something sweet on hand was really helpful. I got a sponsor when I got sober in the program, and she really helped me with different tips and tricks, like maybe always keep a candy bar or something nearby for sugar cravings. And I'm like, sugar cravings, and I'm like, oh, I have those actually. And so yeah, I would just always have like something sweet with me, or like going out to dinner with friends or going to a family function or something, I would always order like a mocktail, like something
Mhm.
that was like yummy and I could look forward to, and it looked really pretty. So it made me feel a little bit more special than just a glass of water in a plastic cup.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Mocktails are so fun at
they are.
restaurants.
I know. I love it. And I always like whenever I go out, even to this day, I'm so annoying. I'm like, if I'm like at a restaurant or a bar or whatever and I order a drink, I'm like, could I have like a sparkling water with muddled lemon and lime? And can it be in a glass, like a nice glass, not a plastic cup with a straw, please? Because I'm not 12.
Right? Oh my gosh. I
And
never
they'd be like,
thought
okay.
that's so awesome that you asked for the glass because sometimes,
Yes.
but like sometimes, I guess, I don't know, my mind goes to like, I'm guilty because I'm drinking this soda water with lime and it looks like vodka soda. And so I don't know. In the very beginning, like now I'm just like, whatever. Like
Yeah.
if you assume that I'm drinking, then you're just ridiculous.
Totally.
But like his mocktails are so fun, but they're better in a glass, not
They
a
are.
freaking
I'm always like the
plastic.
extra thing.
Exactly. They
I
come
always
with the
love to
pretty flowers.
yeah. And my childhood, like my mom had like a really big, nice hutch, and it had like everything kind of glass in there, like margarita glasses, champagne glasses, martini ones, like all the whiskey glass, and so like she would make me my drinks, like my juice or whatever,
Yeah,
in the glass that she was drinking out of. And so that was like when I was a kid, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so glamorous. Like
right.
I want to do that when I'm older. Like alcohol was like so like glorified in my house. Like I really looked forward to it. I like wanted to drink like my parents did with their friends at their
Yep.
parties, and it was so normal in my house too, and it was always there that like
Yeah.
it was very a glamorous like glorified thing that I was like, "Oh, I can't wait to drink like that."
Same.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. See, that goes back to the environment versus the
Exactly.
genetic part
It's true.
because you really grew up in it and you
Yeah.
looked forward to it.
Yep. You're surrounded with it.
Yeah, that is crazy. And I love the fancy glasses because I've always said when you first quit drinking, like just put it in a fancy glass.
Totally.
It works. I mean,
It
it works for
does.
some of us, but I mean,
It's
it
like
really
a
does work.
placebo to me almost.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've tried like some I don't like the free wines. Don't like those.
Yeah.
Um
They give me a
but
headache.
oh,
Because I
I
find myself like drinking the whole bottle, like I'm gonna get some kind of effect from it, but I'm not. And then I just have a headache and I'm like, why did I buy this? This is
yeah.
annoying.
I took a sip of the brand was Westbrook, I don't know. Red wine and I was like, why don't I'll just try it. I haven't tried alcohol-free wine since I was pregnant with my son. And so I did it and I took a sip and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this reminds me now it just flooded me back to like when I was drinking red wine." But I was drinking red wine for the effect and because it was better to drink. And I was like, I don't know why. I used to chug it. And now I'm like, I can't even drink that.
No, it's not, it's just not the same.
No.
It hits
Not.
different. I
Yeah.
went to a Friendsgiving just recently, last month, and um I just started like newly like dating again. And this guy I'm seeing like bought me the free wine, and it's like the red blend. And I've never had like that kind, and it's been years since I've had the free wine. So I was like, oh, like they make a red blend one. Like, okay. I used to drink like Hot to Trot, Costco, like red
Yep.
blend
Oh my
wine.
gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, maybe, and it tasted like just like that. And then I was just like, "Oh wow, this is pretty good." And he kept like pouring my me a glass throughout the night, and he's like, "Is it good?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm just like, but I'm not like getting that like warm feeling that I'm like naturally expecting. And it's been like 6 years, but like that's how my brain still works. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I'm not getting like this buzz. And so I kept pouring more. And like I almost finished that bottle and I felt so gross. I'm like, I have the worst headache. I could not sleep. I'm like, that was such a bad decision. And it wasn't even alcohol. I'm like, nah, I'm good on that experience.
It was pure sugar,
Yeah.
probably.
Too
Oh, well.
much. But see, excess.
Yeah.
I would have been
Oh,
fine with sparkling water.
exactly. So you're really big into fitness now.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Yes.
And do you think since you quit drinking and started the gym process and then it like led you to fitness?
I do. I think that I had more time to go to the gym. I had a new sense of self. And just wanting on this journey of like wanting to better my life. Like first it started spiritually from quitting drinking. Like I'm on this spiritual journey. I want to like do better as a person on the inside. I want to work on myself, work on my defects. And then I think one thing leads to another of like self improvement. And I'm like, well, now I want to work on my physical self and just like see where that can take me. And it feels really good. It's a sense of accomplishment. I do CrossFit, which has been like one of the most challenging, like physically challenging things I've ever done. It's really hard, but I've gained a new community there of like other people at the gym and I'm just an individual that needs direction in my life.
Hmm.
And so I have to go to classes, group fitness classes to follow directions from a trainer to make sure someone's there watching me so I don't cut myself short.
Yeah.
Because if just me personally, when I like work out on my own, I don't work out that hard and I won't push myself as hard as if someone was watching me or had a program laid out for me.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it's just a sense of accomplishment and it feels really good to do something really hard. And it was really humbling and it still is really humbling. I still have so much to learn and I think it'll always be that way.
It's, I mean, I haven't done it for years, but it's pretty hard. So were
Rough.
you not into fitness before you quit drinking?
I was, but I was really lazy with it. I was like, it just like wasn't possible. Like, it sounds so messed up. Like, I would go to the gym with a friend, and then after we were done, we're like, "What do you want to do?" And she's like, "Let's go to the bar and like have a vodka soda because it's healthy.
Yeah.
And we just burned all these calories, so let's go treat ourselves because we were on a treadmill and like we deserve this."
Oh my gosh. It reminds me of those memes of like girls drinking as they're working out. I mean, now it's a thing, drinking and working out, but you just like,
Yeah. Well, that would have been me. Yeah. So like I wanted to, right? Like I had like I wanted to look better because I wasn't happy with my body. I wanted to like feel better and look better. It was just a vicious cycle,
yeah,
self-destruction, self-sabotage, like and then I didn't want to feel bad about it, you know? Like I'm like, "Oh, I don't want to feel like guilty or like pity party that like I can't even like commit to like this workout or getting in shape." So I would just drink about it.
drink about it.
I
I
would just
love
think
that.
about it instead of feeling whatever kind of feelings are involved with not committing to your goals.
I was a personal trainer
Okay.
and I
Nice.
um would tell people this is so messed up. Like, no, just switch your mixer. Like do seltzer waters. It's
Switch
like
it up.
you got this. I had I had
That's
somebody
awesome.
I had somebody switch from she used to I don't know what she used to drink, but she ended up drinking tequila tonics instead of like margaritas. I don't know,
Okay.
whatever. And it just like it makes you feel better. But really the damage is still being done whether it's
Absolutely.
like it's not the mixer, it's the
Yeah.
alcohol. And
It's
if
so
just
true.
I was so brainwashed
Yeah.
that I was like, no, just switch your mixer.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
have to get rid of alcohol.
Here's the solution. Totally, like go from like vodka instead of wine or beer. Like
Right?
try this instead of that.
Oh my gosh, it kills me because
Yeah.
I did elite classes, not CrossFit style, but they were pretty intense. And I would show up so hungover.
Uh,
And I would tell all these women that were still trying to lose weight, and they would lose weight. But I was like, you don't have to get rid of alcohol. No, it's just all the sugar that you're drinking. Now I wish I
totally.
could go back and be like, no, get rid of the alcohol. You'll lose the 15, 20 pounds right off the top.
Isn't it like so crazy how some people like, I find people like protecting alcohol.
Yes, that was me.
That was me too. And like now
Yeah.
that I like don't, I can see other people like they're like they protect alcohol. Like, oh, it's not the alcohol. Like it's like I don't that's not the issue. Like I don't know. It's just like so interesting to me like how protected it is.
It is. And I like that you said that because in this book that I'm listening to, she brings this up. She says alcohol, nobody ever blames the alcohol. Everybody always just blames the person. And I was like, that is so true. It's never alcohol's fault. It's always the person. It's a drug. It literally messes with your brain,
Absolutely.
but it's the
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Like, you did that because you were drinking. No, the alcohol made me do it.
Totally.
It's
Yeah. You
ridiculous.
just chose to use that. Yeah.
Exactly. So you're in this community, and I love that. I mean, I guess if I put myself out there more, but I mean, I have my YouTube community, so that's what like
Love that.
helps me. But
Yes.
so you surround yourself with like-minded people. You found a community through AAs around your area. You helped create a group also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An AA meeting for women. Yeah.
And is that any different? Is that any different than what the other groups that you were going to?
No, it's still like standard AA based program, 12-step program. It's just nice to have a women's meeting in town that other women can go to. A lot of women like will only go to women's meetings, and
Mhm.
I think me and my girlfriends just wanted to create like a safe space for people to go to because a lot of people, like won't go to meetings maybe because they have something against men or feel unsafe or feel
Yep.
uncomfortable. So we just wanted to have like just another outlet and another group and another option that women can come to and yeah, make them feel more welcome and they're not alone and yeah, it's been really great.
That's really awesome. We have
Yeah.
a group here that started a biker, like a Harley group.
Cool.
They have an AA group, but they do bonfires on Friday nights.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
I
So,
love that.
I mean, I just love how like I didn't realize that people can actually create their own AA groups.
For
That's
sure.
absolutely amazing.
It's super cool and AA is self-supporting, so it's like it's just like donations or contributions only
Mhm.
and I just like how simple the program is. It's not messy, political, chaotic, like it's just the main focus is to just get like people help and just like people to like open up and it's incredible. In San Diego, I went to a meeting and they have beach meetings in the morning, and that was so cool. Like there was like 50 people on the beach. Like it was,
Oh, that's
and
so
it's just
awesome.
like you're just like sitting in the sand and like listening to one another, and like there's people surfing, and it's just like, oh my God, this is so cool. We're everywhere.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Um, so do you plan on, I mean, I know that you've been sober 6 years, but do you see yourself doing anything? Do you have any other goals like
Um,
looking forward to?
like with sobriety
Mhm.
or yeah, I really have learned and was taught to just take my sobriety one day at a time. So that is something that I do. When I got sober and made it to like 3 months, I'm like, okay, I'll make it to 6 months. And then I'm like, okay, like I'll make it to a year. When I make it to a year, I'll be cured. And then like I'll get this drinking thing down and I'll drink like a normal person, like it'll be fine. Well, I made it to a year and like that's just and I didn't go out and try drinking again, but I just, okay, maybe I'll like, my life is good. Like, I'm happy. Like, I have found joy and like freedom and happiness without alcohol. And like I'm too afraid to trade that in and have it
Hmm.
possibly be worse. It's like there's a little healthy amount of fear in me that keeps me from going out there and trying to drink like a normal person. Like maybe I could, but maybe I couldn't.
Yeah.
And it's the maybe I couldn't that keeps me from trying. And just because I have 6 years of sobriety doesn't mean that like I have it all figured out because I have hit some points in my sobriety, like I just went through a 10-year breakup and like
Oh,
that I've never gone through a breakup sober. So like I'm still doing new things in sobriety that I've never done before that are really painful and they're really hard. And I have to like the hard part is like I have to feel every
yeah. Oh,
that's, a reminder of like, oh, that's why I drink during breakups because this is hard and it sucks. And so, like, as hard as it is and painful as it is to go through like huge, like, life changes like that, I feel like I'm healing like I've never healed before in my whole
yeah.
life. And I'm continuing to just break old behavior patterns and old cycles because I don't have this like substance that's keeping me from healing and growing and feeling like pain. Like it's hard, but like it's also a beautiful thing. And there's something that's like beautiful about like really like low points in your life because it's always followed by like
Yeah.
something going up. And so like I'm definitely on like the up and up now. But man, it was really scary going through that breakup and the first thing I thought of was alcohol. I'm like and so like I was really close, I would say, to having a drink than I have in my 6 years.
Wow.
Because that was an old solution that worked
Yeah.
for me. That it's weird how our brains go back to comfort and like old solutions that we just did for so long. And I didn't think that my head would be like, oh, I should have a drink right now. But I'm like, oh, I'm uncomfortable and I'm in pain and like I want to get out of it. And so I would just reach out to a friend, go on a walk, go to the gym, and heal in a different way than I did before. And
Wow.
so I think my goal in sobriety right now is just to like stay true to myself and just like keep discovering and keep living on like my purpose here in life and like helping others.
Mhm.
That really helps get me out of myself because when I'm in myself, it can get a little messy and it can get a little egotistical and like battling like the ego
Yeah.
is rough. So just
Wow.
yeah.
I love that. And I love that you said you had to feel all like the ugly emotions because it's true. Like when you're sober, feeling those emotions is a whole different thing. But if you
Oh,
caved to alcohol, you would have been drunk texting your ex.
absolutely.
Wouldn't have made
And
it
then I
better.
just be back in that old pattern of unhappiness and like, yeah, trying to fill a void, like I think it's easy to like seek outwardly to feel some type of void that we have inside of us instead of like trying to figure out what that void is or like filling it in a healthy way or just, coping mechanisms. Maybe I
Yeah.
wasn't taught the best coping mechanisms growing up. So that's maybe why I turned to alcohol all the time. It was a way
Yeah.
to cope.
Funny how that works.
Funny how that works.
If
It
you're
works
not
until it doesn't.
exactly.
Yeah,
If you're not taught the right coping mechanisms, we're gonna figure it out on our own, and it ain't gonna be the healthy way until we figure it out the healthy way. Oh my
exactly.
gosh. That is crazy. So if you could give somebody that is struggling right now a piece of advice, what would it be?
Ah, just know that like you're not alone and joy is totally possible no matter how dark you feel. Like joy is totally possible without alcohol or without a substance. And we can't get to good things without going through hard things. So feel the feels, like feel all the feels as hard as it is. Like I feel like there's just so much like wonderful healing that comes from like truly accepting and feeling your pain and like getting to that place of low. Like it's scary, it's dark, it's hard, but it's beautiful because then there's like nowhere else to go but up from there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I really appreciate you sharing your story. I
Ah,
love how all of us are so similar, but we all have like, there's one piece of our story that isn't the same.
yes,
And it's just, we resonating with people just, I think, helps so much.
absolutely. We're all our own like unique selves.
Can people find, so can you tell us where to find you if anybody's in the area?
Yeah, definitely. Um, like where I'm in
Like, so,
Tumwater.
so you said you do Friday nights, you said?
Yeah, Friday nights, Broad Highway. It's in Olympia, Washington, and it's at the Good Shepherd Church.
Awesome.
That's where
And then
I'm.
do you have any social media?
I do. My social media, my Instagram is Chels_Lynn. And anyone
And
can please reach out to me through that, or message me, or on Facebook, Chelsea Santee. And I'd be totally there and happy to help point anyone in the right direction, or even just like calling or texting. Like I'm always here for people.
I love that. That's absolutely amazing. Like I feel like having somebody so open to like communication is like so key.
Yes. I've had lots of strangers through the program, people I didn't know, like young women, like just call me. I always answer my phone. You just never know who it's going to be on the other end that needs
Yeah.
help. And like I was helped so much by strangers in the program and just in the world. And I like have to like pay it forward. Like there's like this deep yearning inside of me that's like someone helped save me really from my own self-destruction. So I can help another person and just pass it along.
Oh, that's amazing. I can't thank you enough for telling or being here tonight and
Thank you
sharing
for
your
having
story.
me.